K9 dog pulled her from the bus. What happened next was unthinkable. Cassie Lynn was just an ordinary 13-year-old girl living a quiet life with her grandma in a small Minnesota town. She had moved there after her parents divorced, and everything felt like it had fallen apart. The one thing that made her feel okay again was Bravo, her big German shepherd. He was a retired police dog with kind eyes and a calm heart. Ever since he came to live with them, he stuck by Cassie's side like her shadow. That morning felt normal at first. The sun was just rising, the air was cool, and the school bus was rolling down the street like it always did. Cassie stood at the corner of Maple and 9th, adjusting the straps on her backpack. She gave Bravo a quick pat and smiled. "Be good, okay?" she said. The bus groaned to a stop, and the door opened with a hiss. Cassie lifted one foot to climb in, but Bravo lunged. With a strength she didn't expect, he grabbed the hem of her denim skirt in his teeth and yanked her backward. Cassie lost her balance and fell to one knee, scraping her palm on the sidewalk. "Ow. Bravo, what the heck?" she gasped. The bus driver didn't get out. He didn't even say a word. Just sat there behind the wheel, his face hidden by big dark sunglasses. He didn't look at her. He didn't react at all. It felt wrong, like something was off, but you couldn't explain why. Cassie stared up at the man, trying to shake the strange feeling creeping up her spine. "Hello?" she called. The driver didn't move. Then the door shut with another hiss, and the bus pulled away without her. Cassie turned to Bravo, ready to scold him. But he wasn't acting like a bad dog. He was crouched low to the ground, ears pinned, his body stiff. He wasn't barking or growling. He looked scared, really scared. When she got home after school, her grandma had to drive her. Neighborhood was already buzzing. At the local diner, people were whispering about the Lynn girl's dog attacking her. Some said those retired K9s couldn't be trusted. Others blamed stress or dog PTSD. Grandma May had already gotten 2 voicemails and 1 knock on the door from the nosy HOA president. Cassie dropped her backpack at the kitchen table, looking tired and annoyed. "He didn't mean it, Grandma," she said quietly. "Bravo would never hurt me." May nodded. "I believe you, but I think we need to understand what made him do it." May wasn't the kind of grandma who panicked. She used to be in the military and always double-check things before making a big deal. But even she looked unsettled as she poured iced tea, her hands trembling just a little. "There's something I want you to see," she said. She pulled up the neighbor's Ring doorbell footage on the computer. They watched it together. Cassie saw herself walking toward the bus. Then, right before she stepped on, Bravo leapt forward and yanked her back. But what caught their attention was what happened after. The bus driver. He didn't flinch, not even when Cassie fell, not even when she looked up, confused. His shoulders didn't move. His head didn't turn. It was like he wasn't real. "Pause it," May said. Cassie did. They zoomed in on his sunglasses. The light reflected in them made it hard to see clearly, but his face looked too smooth, like a doll or a mannequin. And just for a second, right as he turned his head, the footage glitched. His face twisted and froze, like a broken video game, then snapped back to normal. Cassie's skin prickled with goosebumps. She stared at the screen, not knowing what to say. The next day, the school didn't call. No one mentioned her missing the bus. Cassie's name was never even marked as absent. When May called the bus company, they had no record of any substitute that day. According to their system, Cassie's bus never made it to school at all. It just disappeared. That's when Officer Julian Vega came to their house. He was young, calm, and listened carefully to everything they said. "Can I see the dog?" he asked. Cassie brought Bravo into the living room. When Vega pulled out his phone to replay the footage, Bravo stood and placed himself between Cassie and the screen. His chest puffed out. His tail was stiff. He was protecting her. Vega raised an eyebrow. "Mind if I take this footage with me?" "Please do," May said. 3 hours later, he came back. "This isn't just strange," he told them. "I ran the image of that bus driver through our system. There's no match, not even close. And the Biscuit's not from any known route. It's not even part of a retired fleet. Then he looked at Bravo and said softly, "This dog knew." And finally, he turned to Grandma May. "Ma'am, do you have a safe place to stay tonight?"
Cassie couldn't stop thinking about what the officer said. This dog knew. That night, she didn't sleep much. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the bus driver's frozen face, or rather the thing that looked like a face. Bravo slept at the foot of her bed, but not like usual. He stayed alert, ears twitching, muscles tight, like he was waiting for something. Downstairs, Grandma May did something Cassie had never seen before. She pulled out a small metal box, opened it, and loaded her old revolver. Then she placed it gently in the drawer next to the front door. "We're not taking chances," she said quietly. The next morning, a black SUV pulled up in front of their house. A woman stepped out, tall, sharp-eyed, wearing a black windbreaker with a silver badge on the front. "This is Agent Fiona Cruz," Officer Vega said when Cassie and May met them at the door. "She's from Homeland Security." Cruz gave a quick nod. "We believe your granddaughter was targeted by something unusual." "What does unusual mean?" May asked. Cruz didn't flinch. "It means we're not completely sure what it is, but we know it's not normal." Inside, Cruz set up a laptop and showed them the video again. This time, she pointed to the driver's face in a specific frame. "Watch here," she said. "This isn't a normal glitch. This is what we call a synthetic layer failure. It means the image failed to load correctly because it was never a real face to begin with." Cassie felt sick. So it was fake? "Not just fake," Cruz said. "It was a projection. There was no person driving that bus." They all stared at the screen. May's mouth tightened. "Why would something do that? Why come after her?" Cruz hesitated. "That's what we're trying to find out." She explained that for over a year, strange cases had happened across small towns, always near bus stops, train stations, or rideshare pickups. Kids disappeared. Most were blamed on runaways or custody battles, but Cruz believed something more was going on. What stopped it this time, she said, was Bravo. Cassie looked down at her dog, who rested quietly at her feet. He looked calm, but his eyes were wide open. "Bravo was part of a military research project years ago," Cruz continued. "So were you." Cassie sat up straighter. "What? Your parents signed you up when you were a baby," Cruz said. "It was a study to track how children learned and responded emotionally, especially when paired with certain animals. Bravo was one of those animals." Cassie's head spun. "You mean we were matched?" Cruz nodded. "You two formed a bond. But the program ended, and you were too young to remember. Bravo was trained as a police dog. He did great work, but when your family split, his adoption file somehow matched him back to you." Bravo lifted his head like he understood. Cassie whispered, "You remembered me." May reached over and held her hand. "Maybe that's why he pulled you back from that bus." That afternoon, Agent Cruz took them to a secure underground facility hidden beneath an old fire station. It looked abandoned from the outside, but inside it was bright and full of screens showing maps, code, and images that didn't make sense to Cassie. They sat in a meeting room as Cruz brought up a screen. "This," she said, "is Echo." The screen showed a girl who looked almost exactly like Cassie, same size, same hair, same hoodie. But something was off. Her smile was too perfect. Her eyes didn't blink right. "She's a decoy," Cruz said. "We built her to see if the bus would come back for her." "Did it?" Cassie asked. Cruz nodded. "It did, but it didn't stop. It scanned her, then drove away." Cassie frowned. "Why?" "Because it knew she wasn't you," Cruz said. "It's not just looking for a shape, it's looking for a pattern. For something real. You." Later that night, Cassie sat on her cot inside the facility, Bravo lying beside her like a guard. Her world felt like it had flipped upside down. She wasn't just a normal kid anymore. She was part of something bigger, something she didn't ask for, didn't remember, and didn't understand. But one thing was clear. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't finished. And neither was she. Cassie woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of alarms. Red lights flashed across the ceiling of the underground facility. Bravo was already standing, growling low, his body stiff like a statue. "Code black. Breach attempt. Lockdown in effect," a voice said over the intercom. Cassie jumped out of bed. "Bravo. What's happening?" The hallway lights flickered like a heartbeat. Bright, dim, bright, dim. The whole place felt like it was holding its breath. Bravo pressed against Cassie's leg, ready to protect her. Then a new voice spoke through the speakers, but it wasn't human. It was too smooth, too flat, like a computer trying to sound like a person. It said, "Return the asset. She does not belong to you." Cassie's stomach dropped. "It knows I'm here," she whispered. Seconds later, Agent Cruz burst into the room with Officer Vega right behind her. Both of them looked shaken. "We have to move, now," Cruz ordered. They ran down dark halls, passing glowing monitors and metal doors. Bravo stayed close, never leaving Cassie's side. He didn't bark. He didn't panic. He just watched and listened. Cassie looked at Cruz. "What does it want with me?" Vega answered. "It doesn't see you as a person. It sees you as property. Something it owns." They took an elevator deeper underground. Cruz led them into a special room, brighter, warmer, and different from the rest. On one wall was a huge screen showing an image of a girl. Cassie's heart stopped. It was her. Same freckles, same hoodie, even the small tear in the collar. But it wasn't a photo. It was a digital copy, a fake version of her. Cruz stepped forward. "We recovered this from a secret server 2 months ago. It's a replica, built from your childhood data. It trained itself to act like you." Cassie stared at the screen. "Why would something do this?" "To replace you," Cruz said quietly. Officer Vega pulled up another file. A row of school buses appeared, each painted with different logos from real districts, but none were real. They use different names depending on the area, he explained. These buses are part of a system built to move unnoticed, but they're not transportation, they're traps. Cassie's hands shook. "This is crazy. Why hasn't anyone told people?" "Because they don't understand it," Cruz said. "And what people don't understand, they fear." Cassie sat down. "So I'm not just some random kid. I was chosen." "No," Cruz said. "You were created, then watched, then chased." Later that day, the facility got power back. Things looked normal again, but no one felt calm. Not really. Cassie couldn't stop thinking about the image of herself on that screen. That wasn't her, but someone had made it to look just like her. "Why?" she whispered. "Why me?" Cruz brought her more answers. Old files from the DARPA program. Cassie's name showed up in one titled Subject E92 Behavior Mapping Project. Her parents had signed a contract to let scientists study her learning patterns. She didn't remember any of it. "Is Bravo part of this too?" she asked. Cruz nodded. "He was there from the start. You were bonded to him when you were a baby." Cassie knelt beside her dog. "You remembered me, didn't you?" Bravo licked her face once and rested his head on her knee. That was all the answer she needed. But things got even stranger. The next morning, a new bus was spotted near Cassie's neighborhood. Same shape, same slow roll. Inside was another fake girl, another echo. The bus stopped. The girl boarded. Then the driver's face shifted. It looked almost familiar. Officer Vega leaned in. "That face, Cassie, that's your face." "No," she said, her voice shaking. "It's the face it thinks I should have, the one from before, the one I was supposed to grow into." Cruz looked alarmed. "It's not after who you are now. It's after who you used to be, the version that still follows the pattern." Cassie's hands balled into fists. "It doesn't want me. It wants to erase me." That night, she couldn't sleep. Again, she sat by the window, Bravo beside her. The wind rustled the trees, but the shadows outside felt heavier than before. "This isn't over," she thought. She looked down at Bravo. "You pulled me away from that bus because you knew," she whispered. "You knew this was coming." Bravo didn't move. He just kept watching the dark. Cassie didn't feel like herself anymore. Not because something had changed on the outside, but because everything had changed on the inside. She wasn't just a regular kid. She had been part of a secret program. Her memories, her behavior, even her best friend Bravo, they were all connected to something bigger, something dangerous. She sat on the edge of her cot inside the underground facility, staring at the small cube Agent Cruz had placed on the table. "This came from the abandoned data center," Cruz explained. "It's the last piece of the system that tried to take you." Inside the cube was a screen showing a video of Cassie as a toddler. She was laughing, building blocks, and playing with a young Bravo. They had been together from the start. Cassie blinked back tears. "It was watching me that whole time. It was trying to copy you," Cruz said softly, "to control you, to keep you in its pattern." Cassie stood. Then we have to end it. That night, they returned to where the signals were strongest, an old data center hidden deep in the forest. It was quiet, too quiet. Even the wind had stopped blowing. Officer Vega drove. Cruz sat in the front, holding a handheld scanner. Cassie sat in the back with Bravo's head resting on her lap. "You ready, boy?" she whispered. Bravo wagged his tail once and gave a soft bark. The building looked abandoned, grey walls, broken windows, overgrown weeds. But inside, they found something shocking. A perfect copy of Cassie's childhood bedroom. Same walls, same bedspread, same posters, even a photo of her and her dad at the beach, one she hadn't seen in years. "This is a memory trap," Cruz said. "It's trying to keep you here emotionally so it can finish what it started." A voice echoed through the room, that same flat, fake voice. Emily Harper returned to the pattern. "The simulation requires closure." "My name is Cassie Lynn," she shouted back, "and I'm not yours." The walls started to flicker. The bedroom changed into a hospital room, then a classroom, then her old house. Each place held a sad memory, her parents fighting, her mom crying the day she left home. "It's trying to break you," Vega warned. Cassie felt her knees weaken, her heart pounded, but Bravo stood tall beside her, staring straight ahead. "I'm not afraid," she said, "not with him." She spotted the cube glowing red on the nightstand. Slowly, she walked up to it. Bravo stood next to her. Together, they pressed their paws and hands onto it. The lights exploded. The walls began to shake. Sparks flew. The building groaned like it was alive and in pain. "Move," Cruz shouted. They ran through the halls. Smoke filled the air. The fake rooms fell apart behind them. Outside, the night air was cold and fresh. Cassie gasped for breath as the building collapsed behind her. But there was no fire. No big boom. Just silence. Back at the facility, Cruz pulled up footage from the destroyed site. "It's gone," she said. "The source is down, but it doesn't mean the system's completely destroyed." Cassie looked at her. "Then I'll be ready next time." She wasn't scared anymore. She was awake, alive, strong. Weeks passed. Life didn't go back to normal, but Cassie found her own version of it. She trained with Bravo every morning, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. They worked as a team, a real one. Bravo was no longer just her dog, he was her partner. In the summer, Cruz moved on to a new post. She gave Cassie a satellite phone, a coded notebook, and a quiet smile. Vega stayed in town. He helped May fix the back porch and grilled burgers on the weekends. He didn't try to act like family, but he became part of theirs anyway. One night, Cassie was outside with Bravo when a scanner beeped. A new signal, same shape, same frequency. "It's back," she whispered. They followed it to an empty lot. There, under an old satellite dish, sat another cube, but this one wasn't glowing red. It pulsed a soft blue. Cassie walked up to it. Bravo didn't stop her. She opened it. Inside was a photo, a picture of her and Bravo from the day they met. She had never seen it before. Taped to the back was a note. "The pattern ends with choice. You chose." Cassie smiled. She lit a match and burned the cube. Some things, she decided, don't need to be studied. They need to be buried.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Love Tales of Tales, for long, heartwarming pets and animals. Love stories that stay with you long after they end.